welcome to the Trinity Force Podcast. Yo, it's that Triforce cast beaming straight to your home. Grab a beer so we know Pone ain't drinking alone. Send an email, a quick tweet, just pick up the phone. Leave a message, hit the beep if you're a creep, watch your tone. Discuss the meta game, patch notes, whatever helps your stats most. Obi Pone Kenobi is your last hope to snatch gold. So grab your headphones and join in the fun. We'll try and force in some jokes and some cringeworthy puns. Yo, we can make it together, people. Trinity Force Podcast. These boys are second to none. Now that's the end of the intro. It's time we begun.
Hey guys, episode 488 of the Trinity Force Podcast is now live and in your ears. I apologize if you're listening to 487 way after you should be. We had some technical issues this weekend with the website, but those should be resolved at this point, and you guys are now listening to the new rune discussion. Episode 487 wasn't all that special anyway, because we just talked about changes, and then some of those changes we laughed at actually ended up becoming really good, like Yorick and his Q change. Suddenly Yorick is dominating in the Champion GG list. But I'm joined by Beaver and Marine tonight. Everyone else seems to be out. They're out playing with the runes or doing other things. So what's up, guys?
Not too much, man. Just got promoted back to Diamond 3 today. Got my ranked streak on. Figured out the runes I'm really digging. So
promoted just to be demoted later. That's the way I like to do it.
Oh, yeah. You always get demoted later. That's an unspoken rule.
Yeah, it's called that's called actual real season, when you have to do your placements again and you place Plat 3 and you have to grind your ass all the way back up there. So congratulations on Plat 3 is what I'm trying to say.
Plat 3? D3?
No, man.
Oh, wait. Because I want to get demoted after. Never mind. I'm slow tonight.
Yeah, I just explained it. He wasn't listening. All right.
I think I overthought it.
Guys, don't forget about patreon.com/T-Force Network, where you can line up some Champions Select podcasts for $10 a month. $25 a month get you a replay review. We'll even do those on the preseason and talk about how you can get better. There's a ton that you can do outside of picking good runes and masteries to get better at this game, and we want to help you for $25. As well, you can go to buddhaboxers.com/T-Force and check out Buddha Boxers. They're not 100% bamboo, but they are bamboo boxers that help wick away the sweat and make you more comfortable during the day. I go out of my way to wash the pair that I have, and I keep saying it every single week, but I need to go and purchase some more because I love them so goddamn much. If you guys are having any problems with like bunching or like just general uncomfortableness when you're sitting down, or like your underwear, the Hanes that you're wearing suck, go find some Buddha Boxers. buddhaboxers.com/T-Force. And that is our plugs for this evening. So we're going to jump into some rune discussion as we specifically talk about inspiration, precision, and domination this evening. Most of you have probably had a chance already to play on the patch, and you've been using like RuneForge or reading Reddit and whatnot to put some runes together. And I can say that the majority of us are not 100% like sold on any set of rune combination at this point, because we're still out there and playing, and new math is coming out every single day. But we just kind of want to give you guys a rundown of what runes do, so that you can be better equipped when you roll in there. So maybe when you pull up that rune page, you're not completely blindsided as you continue to play this week. And if you I guess should we just jump right in there, or should we explain how runes work?
Yeah, may as well talk about it, because since masteries are gone now and runes kind of work like the masteries do, there might be some confusion. All
right. So yeah, the basic is you have a primary rune slot or primary tree, and you essentially pick your keystone first, and then you roll down into 3 lesser runes after that. And each of the lesser runes beyond the major rune has 3 rune slots, and you can pick an option from each category. So each category lets you pick 3 different types. So if you pick one, you're giving up the other 2. And then after you run down and pick your runes, you then get a secondary set, which is only 2 lesser runes available to you. And depending on what that secondary set you pick, you get some bonuses for having your 2 sets. And the majority of the time, it's just adaptive AD and AP that you're picking up. If you're picking up some of the support stuff, you get like extra healing and some extra adaptive AD or AP as well.
Yeah, and then the tank mastery specifically gives health, flat HP.
Right. So yeah, that's the basics of it. Since they got rid of runes and masteries, and everyone's got all this for free, you should kind of know how to do it. And once you're so you just go in there, make some presets, make some stuff. I don't really feel like covering everything you can do. Let's just talk about the runes, shall we? So have you guys had a chance to play with the domination tree a bit?
Yeah. Yes, lots. That's pretty much all I've been using as a jungler.
I experimented with it slightly. Mostly the electrocute path.
So yeah, your keystone slot with domination is you get a bonus of 18 AP or 11 AD, and it's adaptive. I kind of want to, before we really jump into these things, I want to talk about this adaptive keyword that Riot has tossed in here, because this is actually making for some really interesting early game decisions with adaptive. Primarily, we'll use Katarina, for example, because her passive scales off of AD. What is it, AD and AP? And so like you start with an early longsword and you get that early adaptive extra AD to go in on somebody that has no armor in the mid lane. And then as you pick up AP, that flips, that extra bonus you're getting from Rune flips over, because it is adaptive based on what you have more of. And suddenly you start picking up more AP, which you need later to be able to do damage. So, and she's not the only champion out there abusing this adaptive keyword.
The thing that she's really abusing is sudden impact and its ability to flip between armor penetration and magic pen. Because when you blink or use a gap closer or flash or anything like that, or a dash, it gives you 10 lethality or 10 armor pen. I mean magic pen.
It gives 10 flat lethality and 8 flat magic pen no matter what, I thought.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah,
okay, then that's what it is. Yeah. And that at level 2 is pretty crazy. If you're thinking about someone who is, Katarina, let's say she has like 70 AD or something, the longsword, and then you get on someone who's taken magic resist against you and not armor, you've probably cut their armor down to 20. So it's pretty deadly.
And they have no armor to start with anyway, because they're not getting
exactly. Yeah. So
I was actually looking at a lot of these before we jump into domination. I was looking at a lot of these, and I'm curious if I think a lot of people are trying to pick like really offensive runes the entire way through, both in the primary and secondary slots. And I'm curious if it doesn't start to change over, that people are picking up. I think is it the resolve tree is the tank tree.
The tank one, yeah.
And I'm curious if maybe like marksmen don't actually start picking up like the resolve tree and stuff for their secondary, instead of trying to pick up more damage through domination with their secondary.
Right now, the game is extremely snowbally. For a couple factors. One of them because jungle experience is down a little bit, so it's harder to keep up as a jungler. That's from that aspect, but also there's less resistances in the game,
right?
So it's easier to kill people when they're behind, and also when you get ahead. So the gap has opened between teams that have a lead and teams that are behind. So it makes it difficult to sort of get back into a game if the game's snowballing out of control.
I'll be honest, though, that's every single preseason. They make some changes, and every single preseason the average game time drops dramatically.
But I think we're going to see that extend this season just because of the nature of the base armor and magic resist rework of everyone.
I don't know. I think Riot's keeping a tab on it.
Honestly, yeah. They usually are pretty quick to address most of the major problems. And I think a big part of it right now is this unknown factor that comes with the preseason, where certain characters are strong and certain characters are weak, but the expectation of like who is weak and strong is totally different from what it actually is once the preseason goes live. So there's a lot of this like random factor where people are losing games with characters they thought they expected, to win with, to do well, and suddenly losing in matchups because of maybe some utility or power that a keystone gives. It totally flips the game. I mean, as a Garen player, I can say that his early game has gotten a significant bonus depending on what trees you're running right now, and that's totally flipped matchups in the top lane.
Right. Yeah, you have to relearn all those matchups now that everything's changed.
So people are just prone to mistakes. Sorry.
It's true. And another thing to remember is we just came out of a meta where everyone was going late game with Ardent Sensor and 80 carries being on top of the game, tanks coming out of top in jungle, and then occasionally support mid laners. So it's very much... it's a different feel, so maybe the games feel a lot quicker just because we were become accustomed to these long, grindy games. That could be one of the factors.
I see where you're going, and you're not wrong by any stretch of the imagination. I just know that with every preseason that I've been a part of since the beginning of time, it's just they throw new shit in the game, and suddenly everyone's just abusing like the really fast starts because no one has figured out how to change it. Plus Riot, obviously, they removed all these resistances and shit. Like that's a gigantic major factor of this. When you remove 10 armor from mid lane, suddenly Katarina and those snowball out of control. So it's a whole bunch of factors beyond, just beyond what you said as well. So
and there's a little bit of some offset too. Like a good way to look at it is today when I was looking at my magic resist stat, I was like, man, I really wish I had my magic resist runes right now because this mage keeps blowing me up. But then I sort of thought about it some more, and I realized that the flat magic pen that they're always running with, these immobile mages who can't proc sudden impact for that magic pen. You know what I mean? Like they're losing a little bit of damage in there too. So the numbers aren't exactly the same. But there's definitely trade-offs on both sides.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they tried to make it come out even by changing all those base stats, but obviously it made some characters more powerful than others. Like Thomas Rodriguez Kench, as we call him in the top lane. I'm not sure why they decided to give him 20 extra base armor, but now we have to go through that health bar twice.
Right,
it's pretty fun.
The same thing Maokai, right? They gave him a ton of base armor and health, and suddenly he's wrecking shit in the top lane.
I don't know if you've played against Yorick yet, Todd, but I had a couple in my game earlier, and he is terrifying.
I thought Yorick was strong anyway, but I'm not surprised to see that somebody like that can come out of left field.
I mean, he's also not really like a popular champion, even if like the only reason people are going to play him if he's OP. There's not that many people that actually enjoy playing him. You get your one tricks and stuff. But yeah,
well, I
he's
mean,
not someone like an Ezreal or a Lee Sin that has a huge player base. So the fact that he's doing really well, it makes me happy, and hopefully he gets a few more people.
Look at the screen right now. This is Champion GG. Yeah, I could pull up OPGG or whatever the hell it is. But like Ezreal being the number 2 ADC when we just shit on him for an entire season and talked about how much better he could be. You give him Kleptomancy and suddenly he becomes a fucking powerhouse, right? Because he's not running out of mana because he's getting all these extra potions and whatnot. Hell, you're looking at Kayle, Rammus, Yorick, Heimerdinger, Teemo being like super, super powerful at 54%. Like if you asked me last season if any of these champions would ever break top 10, I'd fucking laugh at you.
Yeah,
I've been seeing
these stats are
picked.
Also like they're a good idea of what's going on, but some of them are definitely going to drop down.
Oh yeah.
Yo, go to Darius real quick. Control F Darius.
47.
Yeah, so like somebody like Darius, who's like a tried and true. I mean, look at that, 47% win rate. Like certain characters have definitely dropped off some.
Yeah, if we want to actually talk a little bit about the domination tree, we're going to get to it.
It's all right. We need to kind of intro and just talk about what's going on because everyone out there that's playing at least needs to understand that these runes are really fucking things up. Right. So this is why we're looking at, for those podcast listeners, top 10 right now of just overall win percentage with actually really high play rates besides Zillion is Sona, Ezreal, Malzahar, Zillion, Leona, Maokai, Kayle, Rammus, Xin, Yorick. Those are the top 10. And everybody but Zillion has a really decent play percentage. Well, and Kayle has 0.6, but still. But that's just giving me an idea. But yeah, let's talk about domination. Right now, the bonus for domination is 18 AP or 11 AD adaptive. You have Electrocute, which is hitting an enemy champion with 3 separate attacks or abilities in 3 seconds, deals bonus adaptive damage. You can pick Dark Harvest. You kill things to collect souls and deal bonus adaptive damage on your next attack. And you can do Predator, which is add an active to your boots that gives a burst of MS and deals bonus adaptive damage.
So what I've been playing with has been mostly, I don't think Predator is very strong. But I definitely think that Dark Harvest and Electrocute are really good. Electrocute is sort of the go-to Thunderlord Decree replacement this season. Dark Harvest has the potential to be more powerful in my testing in the first few days, but Electrocute has proven itself to be more consistent, especially on the type of assassins that I've been playing out of the jungle.
Does if you played Lee Sin, does a QQ auto proc Electrocute?
Yep, it does.
Okay.
So Electrocute is just very, very consistent, and you don't have to worry about where you are on the map when you're sort of going into a skirmish or something. You don't have to worry about your Dark Harvest being up because you've just killed something. You just know that if it's not on cooldown, Electrocute's gonna proc. So that's the sort of reason I've liked Electrocute, especially over something like a lethal tempo that we'll talk about later in the precision tree, because basically the ganks are real quick and you proc your Electrocute as well as your sudden impact, and then you can snowball the game pretty hard. So I've had a lot of success so far on Kha'Zix, Rengar, Shaco.
Basically, any kind of bursty assassin is what you're saying.
Bursty 80 assassins, and those are the kind of characters. And Xin Zhao is insanely strong. If you haven't tried him out, I definitely suggest it. And all of them are using sort of a similar rune setup, which is Electrocute into Sudden Impact into Eyeball Collection, and then rounding it off with either Relentless Hunter or Ravenous Hunter, depending on your character.
Well, so Domination, I played Domination secondary with Vayne because of the minor keystones or minor slots. Cheap Shot, you deal bonus damage to impaired enemy champions. Taste of Blood, heal when you damage an enemy champion. Or Sudden Impact, which Bieber keeps bringing up, is you gain a burst of extra lethality or magic penetration after using a dash, leap, blink, teleport, or after exiting stealth. And like you just that one automatically you think Vayne, right? Because you tumble, Sudden Impact, tumble, leave stealth, Sudden Impact, etc. But Katarina is able to abuse that. Anybody with a dash, jump, blink, or leap. The Rengar coming out of stealth, right? Or out of bushes.
Or out of bushes, yeah. Sudden Impact's definitely the best of the three here. And if you can use it, I would definitely take it. Because it's, like we were saying, that 10 and 8 armor / magic pen adaptive is really powerful, especially in the early game.
Remember that the pen is not adaptive. You get both.
Oh, you get both?
Yeah, you get both.
I thought it was adaptive.
No, it's Sudden Impact. You grants you 10 lethality, magic penetration
it does.
for 5 seconds.
Oh, I didn't even know this. It's even more busted. That's why it's so good. Now I think this is the best sub rune besides a keystone right now.
Let's talk about the next. Go ahead, Todd, if you have something.
Yeah, I would just say if I could practice with Garen Q, I would run this tree, but I can't. That's the only, you know what I mean. And if I could, I would have to change my setup to take advantage of it. It is that good.
You might. You know what? You should. Well, wait. You have to have a dash. You don't have a dash, leap, blink, or teleport, right? So you can't use it. You
can flash, and that'll.
I think flash procs it, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's lame.
Yeah, that's a lame. It's worthless for you, at least.
So that's why someone like this kid is really abusable on top lane champions like Pantheon and stuff too. She has a leap.
Well, we talk about tracking, which is the next set of minors. You have Zombie Ward. After killing a ward, a friendly zombie ward is raised in its place. Additionally, when your ward expires, they reanimate as zombie wards. Ghost Poro. Entering a bush summons a Poro after a brief channel. The Poro will stay behind to give you vision. And there's also Eyeball Collection. Collects eyeballs for champion and ward takes down. Gain an adaptive bonus of 0.6 AD or 1 ability power per eyeball collected. This tracking is just really, it's pushing it for supports. So they can gain extra stuff.
Yeah, and it's also giving, because Domination's, a lot of junglers are taking it right now. And Ghost Poro and Zombie Ward are a way to give you a little bit of utility when you're trying to track enemy junglers or roams. So I haven't played with Zombie Ward, but I don't think it's that great, especially since you're not going to be killing wards as a jungler before you get your sweeper, which I usually don't even upgrade to level 9. And then Ghost Poro is good, but then you have to be careful. Like if you're ever in a bush, then it's just going to move. So it's situational. I think Eyeball Collection is just simply the most useful one of the three.
I just don't think any of these in this tree is really worth taking at this point for anybody because there's just such better minor keystones for anybody to be able to be taking other than, getting extra wards on the map.
Yeah, to be perfectly honest, I think all three of them are really weak. But if you're going for the Electrocute Sudden Impact, it's well worth picking up one of them. So if you have to, just try Eyeball Collection or Ghost Poro, whatever works for you.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the last part of this tree where it's Hunter. Ravenous Hunter is you earn a bounty, or wait, am I reading that right? I feel like Dom's got that right. Unique takedowns grant permanent healing from ability damage. Ingenious Hunter is unique takedowns grant permanent active item CDR, and Relentless Hunter, unique takedowns grant permanent out of combat movement speed. So
I think all three of these are solid, honestly, but I think the healing one in particular is the most abusable.
Yeah, I agree with you, Todd. They're all really, really good. It just depends on what kind of character you're playing. If you're playing someone who wants to abuse active items like Ravenous Hydra and Yumu's Ghostblade, then Igneous Hunter is definitely the best for you. But if you do have a lot of ability damage, someone like a Graves or trying to think of other characters, even like someone like Katarina. Like Ravenous Hunter is really good for you. So you're going to be getting healing from all your abilities. It's like kind of a mini Death Stance if you think about it.
Yeah, this would be good on Garen too if his E didn't get reduced healing. Oh well.
The only problem with this, of course, is that it's every time you score a takedown on an enemy champion, so it's really snowbally. The entire Hunter tree is so like Relentless Hunter. While it seems good to get a ton of extra movement speed, you're hardly getting a boot's worth of movement speed until you're got 3 kills or so.
Yeah, I mean it's not a
good,
lot.
though.
But it's about the roaming power. That's like it's really more intended for junglers, so they can be where they need to be on the map. It's probably not too good for anybody else.
I've been taking Relentless Hunter. I've been testing it out, and it works really well. And if you do get a couple of early kills, it can definitely help you snowball because you don't have to buy Moby boots, and you basically have that level of mobility plus tankiness from maybe a Ninja Tabby or a Mercury Cheds. Yeah, I think all 3 are good, but once again, it just depends what character you're playing.
Sure, and that's what's good about this, right? We have a whole you can change, and I was looking at them. I was looking at them today because I was making a couple preset room pages that I wanted to try on Jhin, for example, and I think I'm gonna actually start taking Jhin mid because I think he's abusable with Ari or Ari, however you want to say it, Ari probably, or even the Comet mastery, and that there's just a lot of free stats. Like extra movement speed and stuff, and Jhin gets double bonus out of movement speed between or attack speed. I'm sorry, he gets double bonus out of attack speed with all the extra damage. So I'm interested. I know I'm just talking about one champion here, but let's talk about precision because I think this is the tree that Teemo, for example, is abusing right now.
And press the attack is so strong.
It's not even pressed attack, just fleet footwork, right? Like fleet footwork allows you to attacking and moving, builds energy stacks at 100 stacks. Your next attack heals you and grants increased movement speed, allowing you to run in and out for those like pokes or whatever you need to do. It's basically warlords on fucking crack.
I mean, really, this whole tree is good. I personally see a lot of press the attack abuse top lane right now. I'm seeing.
Yeah, that does work really well too. That one is hitting an enemy champion with 3 consecutive times makes them vulnerable, dealing bonus damage and causing them to take more damage from all sources for 6 seconds, which is obviously just amazing.
It's a huge bonus. It's like 12% increased damage, and like from all sources, it's crazy. Like, why isn't it just your champion? Why is it all sources? Like, I don't know. I think it's way too rewarding, honestly.
Well, 12% is a fuckload of damage for
and remember. That's also going to be they'll be taking 12% extra from minions in the early game, which makes this really, really powerful.
Yeah, I think it's really abusive, honestly. I think this particular keystone needs that aspect of it nerfed as soon as possible. And like maybe then increase the damage you deal extra to like 15 or something if it needs to be offset. But yeah, I think that's not fair. I mean, turrets and stuff too, 12% additional on a tower shot for landing 3 autos. I think it's too much reward.
Yeah, it's a fuckload, man. Lethal tempo is also in this tree. 1.5 seconds after damaging a champion, you gain 30 to 80% attack speed based on your level for 3 seconds. Attacking a champion extends this effect to 6 seconds. Primarily trying to go for that late game AD carry, which I could see us the AD carries abusing this later, potentially in the cycle if the game slows down and moves toward it. But right now, other things like press the attack and fleet the footwork are just better.
Well, yeah, imagine if there's some like tank trying to get to you to crowd control you, and you're kiting him with press the attack. Now your support and your jungler or whatever, whoever's peeling for you, are also dealing 12% extra to this person.
We're talking about lethal tempo.
I know you're talking about lethal tempo, but I'm saying like that's why press the attack is more popular right now.
Right.
Just because of the amount of utility it can bring to your team. Even if you're not doing very well, you're still offering a lot. Whereas lethal tempo, it might be good on certain characters like Kog'Maw or Varus. I'm thinking of ones that really abuse on hit.
I am dreading the game I see where a Master Yi gets fed and has this keystone.
Yeah, I had it, and the attack speed was pretty crazy, but it was almost overkill, if you know what I mean.
I was going to say, because it's 1.5 seconds. That's a lot of time for the Master Yi. That's 2 attacks, right?
No, like usually you max out once you're level 11 if you have like Guinsu's and
sure.
Devour.
No, whatever, I mean, but it takes 1.5 seconds no matter what.
There is no.
It's true.
overkill attack speed on Yi. Okay, he is the OG attack speed master.
It's true. He's really powerful. But like we were talking about earlier, I think the
Press the
benefits
attack,
from press
you
the
get 4
attack are
attacks, you're
just.
dead.
I think they're just too powerful right now.
I want to see a Yi get so strong he can A move into a team in Penna, dude. That's what that's what this Keystone can A unlock. All right, that's what I think. That's what I think it can do for him.
Maybe
Yeah,
eventually. Let's talk about heroism, which is the next step. Those are the minor keystones. Overheal, excess healing, and you become as a shield for up to 10% of your total health. Shield is built up from 30% of excess self-healing or 300% of excess healing from allies.
I've played with it. I don't think it's very good.
Yeah, not yet. Triumph, takedowns restore 15% of your missing health and grant an additional 25 gold. Presence of mind for 5 seconds after gaining a level or takedown. Any mana you spend is fully restored.
The Triumph Keystone in particular is really good. I've seen I did actually have a game where Master Yi was on my team and had that Keystone, and we tower dove top lane, and he had maybe less than 100 health, and a turret shot is about to kill him, and he meditates, and right at the same time I execute the top laner, and so with meditate active, he was like 300 health almost instantly off this Keystone. It was actually quite insane. I think your tower dives can be really brutal with this Keystone.
And takedowns, for clarification, are kills or assists, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like what was the old master give you 5% of your max health?
Right. Now it's 15% of your missing health.
Yeah, it's very similar to that. So if you're on a champion that's looking to get resets or get a lot of kills in a string of a team fight, like even an 80 carry, then this is pretty powerful for you.
The extra 25 gold really encourages that snowball risky behavior too. So I like that. I like that not only is it a strong bonus for completing, like the 15% healing is strong, but I like that there's an incentive to get the most out of it and to play risky. I like that they reward that.
Yeah, if you got 10 kills and you're snowballing, that's an extra 250. It's not bad.
Well, let's talk about Legend next. Legend, Alacrity, gain 3% attack speed plus an additional 1.5% for every Legend stack. So each progress toward Legend stacks for every champion takedown, epic monster takedown, large monster kill, and minion kill. So every time you get any of those, you get a Legend stack. So you can kill minions in lane and get a stack of this. And Alacrity, gain 3% attack speed plus an additional 1.5% for every Legend stack. Legend Tenacity is 5% Tenacity plus 1.5% for every stack. And Bloodline is 0.8% lifesteal for every Legend stack when they're all max 10 stacks.
Yeah.
That's why I said I like Alacrity. This gain 3% attack speed plus additional 1.5% for every Legend stack with a max 10 stacks, because someone like Jen is like, thank you for the free AD, right?
It's true. But I also think that you can't go wrong with that tenacity. 15% tenacity.
No.
That's pretty damn good.
I'm abusing the tenacity one on Garen right now.
Yeah.
With the right combination of trees, you can have 36% tenacity static with no Merc Treads or anything, if you have any summoner spells on cooldown.
Plus when you push your W with the extra 60%, but isn't multiplicative?
It is multiplicative, but with W you get 79% without Merc Treads.
So in other words, you get a free get out of stun card if you land at the right time.
Basically, you're Aurelia. But the thing about the tenacity is, if you're playing a bruiser like your Garens or whatever, and you're trying to stick to people, then it's too good to sort of not take. Whereas the Alacrity, the attack speed, is powerful, but I think only if you really need attack speed. So I know I use Alacrity on Graves because now that you don't have runes, you need attack speed out of the jungle to be able to reload, and you get your E reset on your auto attack. So that extra little attack speed definitely helps you.
I can't remember for sure if it's this one or not, but one of the tenacity keystones also grants slow resistance for equal to the amount of tenacity that it gives. Is that the unflinching? Is that not this one?
Yeah, it's in the resolve tree.
Okay, all right. I wasn't sure. I was yeah.
Let's talk about combat, which is the next step here. You may choose one of the following. Coup de grace, deal 10% damage to champions who have less than 40% health. Additional takedowns on champions grant an adaptive bonus 9 AD or 15 ability power for 10 seconds. We have Cut Down, deal 4% damage to champions with at least 150 more maximum health than you. This increases up to 10% bonus damage versus targets with 2,000 or more maximum health than you. And of course, Last Stand, deal 5% bonus damage while below 60% of your maximum health. This increases based on your missing health up to 12% bonus damage while below 30% of your maximum health. Does Tryndamere love Last Stand?
I would imagine he would.
Like, that's just like free bonus damage, 12% extra bonus damage when you're below 30% of your max health.
I have not played any Trinity on this season yet. I need to.
Dude, he's really good. Honestly, Coup de Grace and Last Stand are both insanely good. Like, they're a lot better. The cut down's like super situational. If you find yourself as an 80 carry against 4 tanks, then you can take it. But I still think the other two are just way more powerful.
Coup de Grace is really good with any execute that isn't true damage. I take it on Garen right now just because like that 10% on top of his ult, like it's way too good to pass up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been using the Coup de Grace on a lot of assassins, and it's really powerful. Whereas Last Stand is better if you're maybe more of a sustained damage dealer and you're not trying to burst people. But if you're a bursty champion, then Coup de Grace is definitely better.
Sure.
Like, once again, someone like Graves, I think if you're last standing, then once you get to low health, if you're dueling someone, you're going to have an extra little burst of damage, and they're not going to be able to maybe expect that. So that's why it's good.
I would hope they wouldn't expect my extra burst damage. Just the way you said it, I would hope they would maybe not expect that. I'm like, well, I hope they wouldn't expect burst damage coming out.
I said that?
Because then somebody's
Whatever,
like...
they're not going to expect it. They're going to be like, oh, this guy can only deal so much if you can auto-attack, like you're playing Kindred or something.
Dude, if they can expect that,
people.
They're fucking playing in like 1372 or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Or 3072. Like, they are fucking in the future. Yeah. No one else is here to give me shit, so I got to do it. I got to do it, right? Inspiration is about creative tools and bending some rules. Depending on what you pick with Inspiration, you can get 145 health, 16 attack damage, or 27 ability power, or 20% additional attack speed. So if you go Inspiration push Precision, you get 20% additional attack speed. Your keystones that you can choose are Unsealed Spellbook. Gain a Summoner Shard at 2 minutes and another every 6 minutes after. While near the shop, you can exchange one Summoner Shard to replace a Summoner spell with a different one. Summoner spell cooldowns are reduced by 25%. Buying Spite won't grant access to Smitems. And you cannot have 2 of the same Summoner spell. Which is kind of, I mean, it's a nice keystone, but I think it's rivaled by all the rest of them that are available to you right now. With the amount of damage that is available through keystones, giving a new Summoner spell doesn't give you too much. I think they tried to make this for like people who want to take Teleport early and then swap over, take Teleport or Ignite early and swap over to Teleport or something later, for example. Or like if you start with Barrier and then suddenly you want to go to Exhaust, like it's a good idea, but you're missing out on a lot of damage by taking Unsealed Spellbook with anybody.
Yeah, also if you don't capitalize on that window, then you're kind of screwed because you don't have a keystone.
Yeah, exactly. Glacial Augment, basic attacking a champion slows him for 2 seconds. The slow increases in strength over its duration. Ranged attacks slow they do it by 20 to 40%. Melees does 40 to 50%. Slowing a champion with active items also shoots a freeze ray through them, freezing the ground for 5 seconds and slowing all units inside by 50%. Were you taking Glacial Augment on Garen?
Yeah, Glacial Augment is really, really strong. Man, it's super good on melee characters who need anti-kite. The only problem that I found is that depending on what character you're playing, the bonuses you get from the other trees, just, I don't know. I ended up switching away from it because I really wanted the Coup de Grace mastery and precision, but the attack speed's no good on Garen. But I think if they buff and nerf any of the keystones to any significant degree, this could still be a real contender.
Sure. And then there's Kleptomancy, which is everybody's talking about.
Klepto is the best one of these three.
Yeah. After using an ability, your next attack on a champion grants bonus gold. There's also a chance you'll get a consumable. And everyone fucking knows about this. They're talking about Ezreal and shit, where you're just and Gangplank, where you're just getting free potions. You're also getting free elixirs and shit for just poking at people. So Kleptomancy being the best one of this entire spell book right now. I think people are just going absolutely ape shit over this, but I have a feeling it's going to die off over time.
I don't necessarily think so. Klepto from obviously Ezreal can abuse it because of his Q, but outside of Ezreal, if you're in top lane and you're taking it, as a range champion into a melee champion, there's really not a lot they can do to punish you. And I think you can really take advantage of the number of consumables you get. Have you played against it much, Todd?
Honestly, no, I haven't, but I just realized that I need to try it because Garen Q will practice as well. So like I could just Q and get a silence and like possibly get an elixir or something, and then like that'd be nuts. Yeah, I don't know. I need to test this more. It's too early to say, but yeah.
Well, you can do or anything. You can use W and then attack somebody and get a potion. You can use E and attack somebody and get a potion. It doesn't matter. Use an ability then attack. You can potentially get a potion.
But just the fact that I don't have to like use an ability any differently than I normally would is what makes it really appealing. I think that's why Ezreal and GP are abusing it so hard, is because they don't have to go out of their way to use their abilities differently.
Sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of like Teemo as well could probably abuse it pretty powerfully. Kale, there's a lot of top laners that are ranged that already have good matchups. People like Gnar, they're kind of lane bullies. I was watching a lot of Quas this week, and he was addicted to kleptomancy. He was taking out every character. Sometimes he went a little crazy for it, but he was starting out kleptomancy and going into the resolve tree to make sure he has a powerful lane, like a safe early laning phase. And honestly, the amount of advantage he gained from those potions was unreal. He, especially in those range versus melee matchups, it's basically free gold. So if you're a top laner or even a mid laner and you're playing against a melee, I would definitely suggest trying it out and just see how it works for you and if you enjoy free stuff.
Do we have any stats on what the percentage chance is? Because it doesn't seem to say that.
Say what again?
Do we have any, so it says there's a chance you'll also gain a consumable. Do we have any idea like what that chance is?
I don't. Well, you know what? Didn't fucking what's his face post a thing with this cat stats? What's this called? Clep.
My guess would be like 1 in 3, something like that.
Human is in pseudo RNG heavily tuned in appropriate range of gold and certain point moments in the game. No, it
doesn't say.
It doesn't say. There's no hard numbers.
It is high though. It is high. Like you're gonna get a lot of consumables for doing this. And all sorts of stuff. If you haven't seen it, you can get elixirs. You can get like old red potions. You get green wards, mana potions. It's really good.
So Gangplank actually isn't abusing it too hard.
You can get the green wards?
Yeah, you can get green wards. You can get mana potions. It scales from the game, right? So later in the game, they'll be giving you stuff that's more powerful, like elixirs. Early game, you're going to get things like mana potions, health potions, green wards. Mid game, you're going to get things like the upgraded health potion and mana potion. And then when you're in late game, you can straight up get elixirs.
That's nuts, dude.
I was fighting someone with Klepto, and I was using it was like Jax or something, and I used an ability and auto-attacked them, and I instantly got an elixir of iron. So I sized up, had tenacity, and then just finished killing the people. Like, it's crazy.
That's crazy that you can get a green one. If your inventory
is full, it'll automatically pop. So if you get a potion from your Klepto when your inventory is full, it'll automatically start ticking.
And my mind is super blown that you can get a ward. I don't think you realize just like how blown my mind is, dude. You haven't been able to buy one in years. I'm gonna have to do it just so I can see that item in my inventory again.
I can also give you.
Through all that, I wanted to point out too, because we were talking about what champions were using that. The top 3 champions being Sona, Ezreal, and the third, by pure numbers, is Alawi, who's abusing kleptomancy right now, not Gangplank.
It's probably entirely Quas.
Right, because he loves her. But I just want to point that out too. It's not Gangplank doing it. There's actually some interesting things we're talking about.
Rocket, right? So
right, well, any of her abilities will, right? Because she's got E and all that other stuff. But there's something interesting also to be said. These are all based on numbers. There's a Reddit thread about this today. Glacial Augment. There are niche chances where or niche cases. Teemo, Kale, Echo, mid are all using it. Also, like Aurelion Soul, who has GLP 800, can get an extra slow when they're using the GLP 800 to use it. So it's just interesting to see some interactions based on items with that as well, and actually turning out to be pretty good.
I think Todd hit the nail on the head with the Glacial Augment. Like, it's a super fair keystone right now, but there's a couple things that are slightly overtuned, especially in the domination tree. So I think if those ever get nerfed, a few more people might switch over to Glacial Augment. But right now, yeah, those champs that can abuse the slows will be wanting to take it.
Well, let's talk about contraption. You may choose one of the following: Hex Tech Flash Traption. You get a Hex Tech Flash, where when Flash is on cooldown is replaced by Hex Tech or Hex Flash. Channel for 2 seconds to blink to a new location. It's got a 20-second cooldown. It goes on a 10-second cooldown when you enter champion combat. So if you get hit by it, it goes on cooldown. You can't flash out of combat with it. I learned that the hard way, trying to run away from somebody. But I did use it as Garen to jump over a wall once when my flash is on cooldown to help engage a fight. So that was pretty cool. But I don't think it's like totally worth taking.
Yeah, it's okay, honestly. I think it can be good if you're in a lane with bushes. I did feel like it gave me a lot of this pressure where if they didn't have the brush and the lane warded, like suddenly every character is Rengar, where they can leap out of the brush and they have this like zone where you almost can't react to it. Like they get to jump on you every fight. But outside of that, it was like really gimmicky. Like maybe you could go over Baron Wall instead of walking around. But, that's the kind of risky stuff that you can't really do without vision already anyway. So,
sure. Biscuit delivery, getting a total biscuit of Everlasting Will every 3 minutes until 12 minutes. Biscuits restore 15% of your missing health and mana. Consuming any biscuit increases your mana cap by 40 permanently. Champions without mana restore 20% missing health instead. And I'm sure somebody like Ezreal loves this item as well, getting a free extra 40 mana every 3 minutes.
This is really good on the manaless champs too. Like on Garen, I can take this and I can keep up a sustain with people who take teleport, even though I'm running Ignite. The biscuits are really good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and you can use a biscuit at the same time as a regular potion, so you can actually double down on healing.
Nerf.
Yeah, it's strong.
I think the biscuit is good, but I mean, we're about to get to it, but the next one is just better for most characters.
Perfect timing. Start the game with a commencing stopwatch that transforms into a stopwatch after 6 minutes. Stopwatch has a one-time use stasis effect. In this item, after you use it, or even if you don't, it reduces the cooldown of Zhonya's Hourglass, Guardian Angel, and Gargoyle Stone Plate by 15%.
Dude, this item is so good. It's like a free Zhonya's for your laning phase. So if you're laning against Zed, take this. You can probably negate his first ultimate, or maybe a second one.
Then pick up a free Zhonya's Hourglass later to use, or not a free, but
not free, but a reduced cost. And then you get to reduce the cooldown of it. I honestly think this is so much. I mean, biscuit delivery, yeah, it's okay on a certain few champions, sort of like Glacial Augment. But I think as a general rule, perfect timing is the hands down best of the three.
Let's talk about tomorrow. Not tomorrow, the show, but tomorrow, the rune set. Magical footwear. You get free slightly magical boots at 10 minutes, but you cannot buy boots before then. For each takedown you acquire the boots, you get the boots 30 seconds sooner. Slightly magical boots gives you an additional 10 movement speed upgrade for 50 gold less. So if you get this, you lose out on having that movement speed, but then you gain an additional 10 movement speed later for picking it up. You can also pick up futures market. You can enter debt to buy items. I love this one, by the way. The amount you can borrow increases over time. The lending fee is 50 gold. The debt limit is 150 gold plus 5 per minute. Debt doesn't come available until 2 minutes. I felt like with futures market that I could always use it and always have my gold back in time to buy my next item I needed, because I could just keep going in debt to get that gold. So like it's a negligible amount that I'm losing because it cost me money to go into debt. But I was able to pick up my first item on my first back by being down 100 gold, and then by the time I went back, I'd be able to pick up my second item for because at some point you know what I'm saying, right? Because it costs you money to go in debt, but you can always pick up that next item. So are you really going in debt? You're always picking it up at the same time you need to, or a little earlier.
I was running this keystone when I was running Glacial Augment on Garen, this rune, I should say. And what I found was that sometimes it felt like maybe it wasn't worth using. Like if I was just going to get like a long sword, like randomly on a back or something, I was like, but sometimes I would back, especially later in the game when the debt limit's like 250, 300 gold. And that's like how much I was short of like a big item like Infinity Edge or Ghostblade.
Right.
And in those situations, it feels like you're cheating a little bit. and you do come back stronger than you probably should have been in some situations. Like, it almost lets you be as much as you can borrow behind in gold without actually being behind, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think it's super powerful too. Imagine on characters that are already going into this tree, like GP. If you're heading back, you haven't had a great laning phase. You have 900 gold, but you really want to pick up a Sheen. You get to lend it out. It's perfect. And then, like Todd was saying, it's really good late game. Yeah, I think I haven't really played with the other two very much, but I don't think the boot one is that great because typically you want to buy boots pretty early, or else honestly you're going to struggle. I almost buy boots pretty much first outside of maybe a touch of damage.
Right.
So I think it's just a lot better than the other two. So there's sort of no point to miss out on it. And it must be pretty good on supports too, I would imagine.
Supports depend. Well, it depends on how the game's going, right? And right now it probably doesn't matter because the game's so quick. But like later on, people are going to want to rush boots and mobility still, so they're not going to want to pick up this. And they don't need to go in the debt to buy items, and they don't need minion to dematerializer.
Yeah, I think the dematerializer kind of sucks, to be honest.
Yeah, you start the game with 6 minion dematerializers that kill and absorb lane minions instantly. Minions dematerialize are on cooldown. I can't fucking say this word. The minion thingamajigger is on cooldown for the first 155 seconds of the game. Absorbing a minion increases your damage by 4% against that type of minion permanently, plus an extra 1% for each additional minion of that type absorbed. I'm assuming they're pushing this toward people who would be split pushing, so they can split push more quickly as they kill lane minions. But you know what? Is it beneficial yet? I'm going to assume that this is something that's just kind of like hidden and it might be beneficial later. Just like keep it in your pocket.
You're taking this because you don't want to miss cannon minions? Just learn how to last hit cannon minions, please. Yeah, I don't really ever see the point of taking this over the other two. If you're fully into this tree. But obviously if you're just dipping into this tree, then you're probably not even going to consider any of these three, most likely.
Sure. Because you have stuff like, you have this one, Cosmic Insight, which just about anybody who dips in this tree is taking. 5% cooldown reduction, maximum cooldown reduction, summoner spell cooldown reduction, and item cooldown reduction.
Yep, it's really good.
It's amazing, right? Just extra attack or extra cooldown reduction. Approach velocity, gain 10% movement speed towards nearby allied champions that are movement impaired or enemy champions that you impair. The range is 1,000 units. And there's Celestial Body, 100 permanent health, but deal 10% less damage to champions and monsters until the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, Celestial Body makes your laning phase super safe, I think. Especially if you're not looking to get kills early. Right. I don't know, Todd, have you seen it much in the top lane? Like people dipping into this tree to pick up Celestial Body?
Honestly, I have not seen... I mean, it's really hard to know. But I don't think I've seen very many people take it. I think when people do opt for this tree, I see the Cosmic Insight a lot. Right. I think people like the max CDR. I think that if you take Glacial Augment, the approach velocity works really well combined with that, because you will proc approach velocity if you're on a character who couldn't otherwise off of the Glacial Augment slow. So like running Glacial Augment opened this up to Garen, for example, because he couldn't proc it otherwise. Celestial Body, I don't know, 10% less damage. That only really feels good maybe on like a jungler who's like a support jungler or something. I don't think so. Not for top.
That's a really good point about approach velocity. Imagine that on Gnar, who's already building a Frozen Mallet pretty early.
See,
it's pretty disgusting.
Gnar doesn't really need that though, because he doesn't need anything else. It's in the tree. It's for people that are running Glacial Augment, such as Aurelion Soul, who use GLP 800 or whatever, and then they get the extra slow, and now that they're moving really fast, and they need to move quickly to be able to do damage. So
yeah, that's true.
Approach velocity works really well with those.
I don't really play top, so just throwing spitballing ideas, but yeah, they're all. I mean, Cosmic Insight, really good. 5% max cooldown. I mean, if you're playing Nasus or anyone that relies heavily on cooldowns like Riven, it's pretty powerful.
Right. And that's 3 of them. We did it, boys. We made it through.
Woo!
So
we did it with only 3 people, and we tackled 3 trees. It feels like an appropriate ratio.
I agree. We'll hit next week. What with the other? Is it 2 more trees?
Yeah, Resolve and what's the last one?
Can't remember.
Sorcery? Yes,
sounds
that's
right.
the one we didn't talk about.
We'll talk about those on Wednesday, and then we'll probably roll back around that next Monday and just kind of like overview and overcap everything again and talk about like what we're finding super powerful, what's been nerfed, what's been hot fixed over the weekend. But that's the rundown right now. I like that. I think we did good, boys. I'm going to give everyone a pat on the back. And, I just want to say, as we were doing this, I looked at coup de grace, and I thought, I know how to say this, but I'm going to accidentally say coup de grace.
I keep saying it like that anyway.
And then someone's going to make fun of me for it. But I had to throw that out there.
Dude, people come in my stream because I say coup de grace and like just don't care. I just I just boss on. And they're like, no, dude, it's pronounced coup de grace. And I'm like, all right, dude, it's coup
What
de
about
grace.
our French Canadian listeners? You got to show them some respect, okay? I'm sure there's a few out there.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Is that respectful enough for you, my friend?
Do we need to
Hey,
talk
it's okay.
about
You
it?
say it to the French Canadians, and we'll see how angry they get at you.
Well, yeah, all the French Canadians out there. All three of our listeners from French
Yeah,
Canada.
who listen to a podcast in their second language.
And Canadians are nice, dude. When I went to Toronto, like the people were some of the friendliest people I'd ever met, like just as a general population.
Yo, not the French Canadians. Those motherfuckers
Yeah.
are mean.
Most of them are
here
pretty
I
nice, but
assumed
some
they
of
were nice.
the older